Good day, everyone. Welcome to this learning session from Training Location. We are an authorized DiSC distributor for Wiley Publishing, as well as a channel partner with the Ken Blanchard Companies. My name is Bill Harshman, and I'll be your presenter today for this short, informative video. In today's DiSC lesson, we will discuss responding to the D or dominant style. We're shifting from understanding the D style to more of a interacting and responsive mode. I'll address today's topic from multiple perspectives. One, those who are not familiar with the DiSC technology or jargon. And two, those who are familiar with DiSC and some understanding of each of the four styles. And three, those who not only know the DiSC, but have taken the assessment and know their own style and other styles quite well. I'll review D-specific information, then provide examples of responses to daily situations. I've always encouraged learners to maintain a couple important pieces of baseline knowledge. These pieces are critical to understanding DiSC. First are the cornerstone principles that we've discussed before. All DiSC styles are equally valuable. Everyone is a unique blend of all DiSC styles, and people tend toward one or in some cases two styles. And your unique style is also influenced by other factors such as life experiences, education, and maturity. Second is the basic DiSC model, which is also critical to understanding the styles. Now, a person's DiSC style is decided by the intersection of two dimensions of observable, that is, including body language, tone of voice, expression, and word choice, behaviors. The vertical dimension is known as pace or outward activity level, described as either fast-paced and outspoken or cautious and reflective. Now, the horizontal dimension is known as your agreeableness quotient. This means that those who are less agreeable place a lower priority or concern for cooperation and social harmony, and we refer to them as questioning and skeptical on the left end of this dimension. And a general term for them might be result-focused. Those who are more agreeable place a higher priority on cooperation and social harmony, and we refer to them as accepting and warm on the right end of this dimension. And a general term for them might be people-focused. It is the interaction between these two continua of pace and agreeableness which forms the four quadrants or basic styles of the DiSC model and by which you identify a person's DiSC style. Let's review the D style. We already know the two continua of observable behaviors which indicate a D style. Now let's see more descriptors which help us understand better. Those are direct, firm, strong-willed, forceful, and results-oriented. So this short synopsis will kind of calibrate us for what's coming. Here's a reminder from an actual DiSC profile report for a D style. Ds place a high priority on results and focus on making their mark. Ds prioritize action and tend to value follow-through and restraint. And Ds prioritize challenge and tend to want to control outcomes through questioning and independent mindedness. Now, I don't want to leave you with the thought that it's only about how we respond to a D. The dominant style has perceptions, beliefs, and knowledge with which they approach the world too. If our subject D observes your behavior and begins to understand more about you, this can help tremendously with your interactions. For example, if our D observes someone as cautious and reflective, combined with accepting and warm, they may deduce that person is likely an S style. However, if the S knows that about themselves, they also know how a D likes to be approached and responded to. The likelihood that with a little stretch, this S can become or is able to respond with the D more effectively. Now, in all fairness, the best interaction occurs when each style reaches toward the other style with acceptance, understanding, and a desire for mutual communication. So let's look through how the D sees other styles. Sees other Ds, of course, you can imagine as driven, competitive, forceful, strong-willed. The Is, a little more talkative, optimistic, naive, passionate. The S's, soft-spoken, indecisive, trusting. And we see the motivators under that one for support, stability, and collaboration. And the C's, analytical, private, precise, methodical. So this is just a high-level summary of how the D's see the other styles and their respective motivators. Now let me take you through a simple everyday exchange with the D style. Let's say Mr. D walks up to a coworker and asks what time it is. The coworker, being unfamiliar with the DiSC, let alone this individual's D style, shares, well, lunch was about 2 hours ago. That was followed by a nice walk on my break, and I'm not quite sure. Well, by now, the D is long past waiting for the answer and displays their frustration. They were hoping for an immediate, brief response. Not rude, mind you, just the D style. Now, same scenario. Mrs. D asks another coworker who is familiar with DiSC and happens to know about our D friend from having been through DiSC training together. The interaction results in the coworker quickly checking their watch and answering 3 o'clock. And Mrs. D says, thanks, gives a thumbs up, and walks off quietly, completely satisfied with the exchange and the result. So don't let the simplicity of this scenario fool you. The same awareness applies to other types of communication, such as phone or face-to-face or text or email. Let's take a look at that. So here's responding to a D handshake or a dominant handshake. Now, the D handshake might be firm and brief, and it's not held for too long. Response to that, mirror the handshake proportionally. If it's strong and brief, great. But just make a note that embracing a D's handshake with two hands and looking deeply into their eyes is probably going to create some awkwardness for both parties. Next, how do we respond to the D or dominant email? So take a look at this short email. And when you see an email written in extremely brief tone or language, right to the point, not overly detailed, we see a style that is purposeful, abbreviated, and more notifying or informative than friendly. Excuse me. Also, notice the bulleted format and the lack of signature at the bottom. So based on your knowledge of the DiSC model, you might begin to surmise you're dealing with a D. Your response, your task is to get to the point as soon as possible. And that might even look like a thanks or got it. And that's it. Let me volunteer one more thing. Yes, you might be a D writing this email. However, always consider the audience. If you're looking to appeal to an audience of all types or types you don't know yet, you may well want to have a more inclusive writing style, including all 4 DiSC types. This is especially helpful if you're coaching another manager or one of your direct reports who is great at writing emails from a D perspective, yet you receive feedback that your employees' emails are somewhat blunt or direct or even insensitive. For example, what if this email were addressing the Christmas holiday instead of Labor Day? Let's keep it simple. Here's a final review of our model featuring the D style as a reminder of those behaviors we need to consider when responding. I hope this overview has increased your awareness, knowledge, and familiarity of the DiSC, and specifically the dominant style. Whether your needs are onboarding, employee engagement, culture change, conflict management, team building, or simply communication, DiSC is a research-based, proven leading training solution. DiSC has impacted more than 8 million learners in over 130,000 organizations and through 14 languages in over 70 countries worldwide. And it provides a quick, intuitive way to understand yourself and others. And DiSC delivers immediate and lasting impact on people and culture. And as always, the key to effectiveness through DiSC is understanding your and others' styles, then using that knowledge for improved interactions. Here's our contact info. And before you go, I'd like to extend you a resource and a request. I'll be happy to send you a sample PDF of any of the DiSC profiles you see on our website, or if you'd like to discuss a complimentary live webinar introducing DiSC or one of the profiles to your team or organization, please use the email shown, info@traininglocation.com. Be sure to check out our learning blog at the website, traininglocation.com. And before you close your screen, we always appreciate your like, your share, the download, and of course, for continued learning, please subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss any new content. Thank you and goodbye. Thanks for joining us. Bye.